I am going to start my speech in three, two, one. Currently, in the K-pop industry, if you want to be recognized and be international, you have to sign into an agency. In those agency, you are trained to be a public figure. These agencies have complete control of, of artists after they sign their contracts. This would mean that any song releases the artist is making or any album releases and merchandise are all controlled by the agency. Most of these agencies will reap the benefits and also will get most of the profits. But other K-pop artists have no other choices because it is the only way to get successful or to get recognized in the K-pop industry. These companies use these strategies of abuse and mistreatment or unfair contracts and so on because they want to take full control of these groups so they couldn't protest, so they couldn't do anything, so they could keep abusing them to gain profit. And these are the strategies of what these agencies keep doing because they are legally able to do that. And so we believe that boycotting from all K-pop fans is the best way to address this problem. Because of this, a lot of agencies have done some questionable things towards their signed artists. They would trap them in their contracts so they could receive all the benefits, and also they have full control of the artist's social media presence and so on. So there's a lot of abuse in the K-pop industry, and so although some groups have filed for lawsuits, but then it is very hard to get out of the contract, and lawsuits cost a lot of money. Other than that, not all K-pop groups have the money and the ability to file for a lawsuit because then again, it costs money and it takes a lot of time. And so many of these groups are stuck in the long-term contracts and they need to wait out their contracts and able to get out of the agency. And they can't do anything. They are really trapped. So as you all know, the main source of income for these agencies are the fandom. They would consume those artists' merchandise and also they would stream their music countless times. They would download it countless times. And so they are the main source of income for these companies. These fandoms have a lot of power and their numbers are just growing. So they have a lot of influence in this industry. These people could control how these agencies act because without them, agencies wouldn't get any profits. And that's the driving, any business would drive with profits. So what would happen is that when there is a scandal or some shady things that happen in those agencies, a K-pop group has, for example, like a K-pop group has not released a song in a long time, album, no merchandise, and there are rumors of abuse in those agencies, all K-pop fans, all fandom would spread the information on social media. And we as a collective group would try to boycott these companies. Fandoms from uh, all over the world would make a petition, and also they would stop supporting these agencies by tarnishing their name. Also, they would stop buying merchandise, albums, and just overall try to limit these agencies' profits, and also tarnishing their names. And this would force those agencies to reconsider their contracts and action towards these groups. So we would like to stop the abuse of contracts and so on in the K-pop industry. We would like every artist to succeed in their agencies and also be treated fairly like other groups. And so it is a responsibility for us consumers to help these artists that we adore to help them not get abused. So and now I'm gonna prove to you why K-pop fandom is effective in dealing with the situation and why boycotting is the only effective way of dealing with this problem. Currently, there are many artists that are being mistreated by their agency. For example, idols from China and other Asian countries usually get different treatment from K-pop, from groups that is originally from Korea. And we believe that the power of K-pop fandoms are strong enough to stop these assaults. As I stated previously, a main income source for K-pop agencies are fandom. They are die-hard fans of these K-pop artists. Currently, these companies aren't scared to do what they do because they know that the artists couldn't do anything. Those artists, especially small ones, aren't able to protest because they legally have signed a contract. For example, FX, they have not given any comebacks and they don't have they don't have any debuts and they don't release any songs. But they are also restricted from publishing any songs that would increase their publicity. But they are stuck and couldn't do anything because they have signed to their contracts and they need to follow these agencies' instruction. The current situation is so bad that the group receive hates, but also this agency wouldn't address or they wouldn't admit that that is their problem, and hence some of them have committed suicide. It is so dire. These artists are put in a situation where they can't do anything. So the fandom, which is the main driving force of the industry, need to step in, and there's no other way. They could really harm the companies directly by giving them bad publication, hence restricting their income, and this would force them to change their policies and so on. The fandoms, because they consist of millions and millions of people, they have the powers and numbers to affect them. Lawsuits cost money, and not all K-pop groups have the ability to file a lawsuit. While on the other hand, K-pop fandoms could move fast. They could operate in social media, and they are massive. They could spread information and make petitions everywhere and really boycott these agencies. It is also the responsibilities for those people, those K-pop fandoms, to help these artists. Letting them suffer would mean fans would receive less albums, less songs, less releases, and that would suck. And these artists have provided us with entertainment, and so those people will be moved to help these artists by boycotting them. We have to remember that these companies have legal power over these groups. They are legally able to do those things, all of those things, like restricting them heavily, and they are legally able to do that because of those contracts. And as I stated before, other forms of protest aren't effective. For example, like lawsuits, they cost a lot of money, and also they cost a lot of time, and it is very hard for small artists to protest. That's why, as the slide information provided, only big groups that have a lot of money are able to protest, to legally hand a lawsuit. So to conclude, we believe that boycotting agencies with high tendency of mistreating their artists would be an effective way to stop mistreatment in the K-pop industry, because firstly, K-pop fandom are effective in dealing with those situations because of the influence they have, and also secondly, we have proven to you why this is the only way to help those artists, and any other way are ineffective. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The first speaker of governments of the House spans 7 minutes and 15 seconds. 7 minutes and 15 seconds. To open the case from the oppositions of the House, please welcome the first speaker of the oppositions of the House. Here.
Here.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. I'm setting up my timer. I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Before I start my arguments, I would like to give some responses to the government side of the House. First of all, they stated about IDOL have no other choice to fight against the agency because that's the only way to gain success. But here's the thing, they do have choice. If they do know that they've been disadvantaged for a long time, they can cut the contract and demand for their rights, like demand for their wage or etc. Artists can sue the agency that are disadvantaged, that are disadvantaging them. Why should they keep silence? Every single of the artists are protected by the national law. They can use the law to protect their rights. Also, they still can have other alternative access to be success, not only by always relying on this agency only. Secondly, they state about it is hard to get out of the contract, and lawsuit costs a lot of money, and artists will get bad stigma. First of all, I'd like to rebut how they would not even get worse stigma with this boycott. Exactly. Even with boycott, the artist itself would even get a worse stigma from the society because they've been seen like they are having relations with a problematic agency, which I will explain further in the arguments. They also said it is very hard to get out of the contract, but we regret that statement. As if you're an artist, you have power, you have fans, and your fans are really want to support you and want to fight against the unfairness that you experience, like the mystery itself. They can just help the artist to access the lawsuit. They can help the artist to access law firms. They have thousands or even hundreds of thousands of fans out there to help them access the law firms. Even as they have a lot of fans out there, they can even help the artist economically for access the law firm to sue this agency. Now moving on to the arguments. First of all, I would like to explain how this boycott is not effective and even make these artists that got mistreated suffer more. First argument. When you boycott certain agency because they mistreated some of their talents, it means that you completely boycott the entire agency and all of its artists. Once you boycott an agency, they will lose they will lose their profit and hard to distribute music works. It means you're also affecting the other artists in the agency. Other artists in that agency will also lose their profit just because their agency is got boycotted. Well, actually, they don't have a direct relation to the problem itself. Well, actually, these other artists supposed to get chance for manifesting their works. It leads to the root action where you silencing other artists for expressing art just because their agency is the one who is really problematic in the first place. Especially as we are standing here as the fans of all fandom, we don't want other artists or other talents got affected too and got disadvantaged by this problem. All we need is to minimize the casualties. Our main goal is for stopping the mistreating for the certain artists. But when we boycott, we're not only let them mistreating certain artists only, but we also make the other artists of the agency suffer more because they lose their rights to experiencing their artworks, distributing their music works, and lose their profit because their agency is problematic. As these artists got pressure because their agency got boycott, social stigma would also attack them. They will stigmatize that they came from a bad agency and so on and so far. And that leads to harder for them to split to other agency because they will be labeled as came from a problematic agency. This will not only imply to certain artists, but also including the artists that has been experiencing the mistreat. They will also face these obstacles. This would make their burden become double. They've been facing some mistreating, and now their burden will became double. First, they got mistreated by its agency and they cannot get their rights, and secondly, when the agency got boycott, they will also hard to these artists will disperse all of its artists, including the mistreated artists, and these mistreated artists would be really hard to find other agency because they seems like they come from the problematic agency because the agency has been got boycott by the society. And that's why we don't want this boycott can also ruin the artist's reputation itself. These mistreated artists, after they go out from the agency that got boycott, they will suffer more. It is not easy for them to find new agency either. Secondly, and how this boycott will affect K-pop fandom. K-pop fandom would be seen as more radical. As we know, it is common in the current status quo that some K-pop fandom recently seen as a radical and fanatic fans. Once we do boycott, our reputation would be worse. We will be seen as a more radical fandom. In contrary, it is better for us to pursue alternative and more idealist mechanism to save the mistreated idols. We can pursue the law way, make petition, help the artists to find and collect proof and evidence about their rights that has not been fulfilled by the agency, and then take it to law firms and then sue the agency. When the agency have a problem with law, this will got highlight in the media, and this can help change the agency mind to treat their artists better because they don't want to ruin their agency name by violating other people's rights and end up facing the law problem. When the problem is already cleared by the law, like sue them to fulfill artists' wish, artists can left the agency with a better reputation. They will be clean from the social stigma because they already took the law as the base for protecting their rights that has been mistreated. And this artist has a right to be protected by the national law. If we want to solve the problem to the roots, better pursue the law first. Besides, as K-pop fandom, if we are boycotting, society will see the fandom as a radical movement. And as we know, each K-pop idol always have haters. These haters will attack fandoms for being too radical, which leads also attack the artist's reputation itself. If we talk about the motion that agency with high tendency of misreading, it is more strategic to encourage the law to solve this, because law will clarify to the society about who's the one who is wrong and who's the one who needs to be protected and who is the one got disadvantage from all the time. And lastly, after the boycott, agency actually can still have proxies and can make new agency. Boycotting is only a temporary solution. They can make use their proxies to make new identity, new account, new business account, and make the same mistakes again in their new agency. So we think this boycotting is not effective to stop the mistreating of their artists. So we as the opposition is really proud to oppose. Thank you.
The first speaker of opposition spans 7 minutes and 24 seconds. 7 minutes and 24 seconds. To continue the case from the government side of the House, please welcome the second speaker of the government side of the House. Here. Second speaker of government, time is yours. Here. A second speaker of the government is here.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
I
You may
will.
start.
Okay. I will start my speech in 1, 2, 3. The opposition team stated X and X asked about why don't we choose the low suite for the solving the problems. But we have to say again, in the contract of the agency in the Korea, they stated in their contract that there is if there is a scandal or the case, they can bring it to the law, and they can bring it to the law because it is the contract stated, and we can see it when the Suli when face the toxic comments and give the suicide, the agency itself can get the burdens of doing what they have done to the Suli in order to have to protect Suli in the law suite. So we think that the law way can be affected, and the second state they say that it is just easy to go and gains a more popularity in the others agency, but the status quo in the fact BAP have outs from their then agency, but in the then BIP is the same as the EXO their popularity, but now if they are out from that agency, we can see the BIP now they are difficult to raise and gain more popularity. So this so the statement is not good. So we think what is the argument? Waiting, but we have to do the boycott is the best systems. In the status quo right now, there's no confirmations and explanations from the GYP, and this makes many rumors comes, and that means there's no actions from GYP, right? We as the K-pop that see all this mistreating and all these limitations for our order can just wait and can just with the explanation of GYP. So that's why we can rely on internal mechanisms and need the outside, which as K-pop fandom praisers to this agency. And why the boycott is the best way? We compare, let's think the others, like depending on the outside way to the press, such as in the status quo right now, there are many tweeters from all around the world, international fandoms, emailing hate comments to GYP that X and press the GYP for responding. for just responding what happens in this mistrading case. And all these ways are not enough. Why? Because the GYP is still silent. And we say the GYP is still silence. And plus, K-pop fandoms have remindings also the agency that what GOT7 have given from them, because there is an unlogically explanation from GYP why GYP disgrace the populations of one of their good invitations, such as GOT7 that have increased the increases the economy of the GYP itself. And then we have enough see all and then the second argument that is we have enough see all the mistreating of the old fandom. The GOT7 member can go promote themselves, they can make things and doesn't have certain functions like making they search the reputation of these members. For mistreating is unlogical things. Why? Because we are enough to see these unlogical things of the mistreating. Why? Because they are the contracts itself. And JYP have agreed to try to promote the GOT7, and if GOT7 can get paid more intentions because if they're monetizing from their YouTube or the comeback album and the merch, we as the government see that what excuse that that agency says for their mistreating, which doesn't make sense why the JYP doesn't have response, and then can be validations because first, I will give the facts about the unlogical reasons. When the Sakura of member Aisan has to discriminate by the others by their managers because of the Sakura hairs is pink and it's like a standing out from the others members, which is unlogical things that we have to erase from this. And then you say about this will make boycotts to the others groups in the same the other group in the same agency. We say that that's why we choose this boycott, because the boycott is long-term solutions. Boycotting urgency, it means that these systems is enjoining many stakeholders such as will attack to others group, which is twice and so on. That's why many old fandoms that just not on the fandoms and the GOT7, but also the fandom of the twice can feel the consequences, can feel the urgency that they have to care about the others groups from their agency because the members of the agency is family, right? We can see in the fact right now there is a GOT7 fandom, there's a twice fandom. Many fandoms of the GOT7 also cares. Even they are not fandom, but they also feel the mistreatments. They can feel sad about the mistreatment that happens to the same agency that conclude their own members' idols, right? And we for the further implications, we say that this will disperse the quality of K-pop itself. And if agency keep doing the mistreatment, it will be make several K-pop global group were talented and potential disband and disadvantage for everyone. Why disadvantage for everyone? Disadvantage for the group itself. We know that for the mental health of the members, many members are committed to suicide, and this is the dark side of the K-pop that people don't care about. We are tired of seeing this. Like many fandoms right now just can be panic, sad, and support and give the prayers for the idols. But what the agency in the first place, they know about the contract that will prove their help their members. They are hands up and like they want to save their image, like don't join the controversial case, like in the case the Suli case. When Suli faces more toxic comments, what the agency face? Agency thinks that they don't have to join this, and then want to put more energy to make a bet to help the bad invitation that will not give advantage for their agency. This statement and this thought that we want to erase in this ladies and gentlemen, because it is not just for just one fandom only, but it is the whole K-pop agency. And we say that it's disadvantage to the fandom because they can consume and feel again the music group, while the group have more responsibility to make their fans and not worried about and still enjoy their groups. And we say that it's disadvantage to the members also because the members have the trains and spends not 1 or 2 years, but also 10 years to go to their debut, and when their debut will happen, they don't have the expectations for promoting itself. They have to out from the agency and not easily to gain more populars again. They have to wait the agency that they want to be here now will debut more against the group, because the debut system in the Korea is not easily like that. And that's and why we say the boycott is solving the root, because we know that the powers of the agency is the outcome. What Auto-Nisab is from comebacks and the promotion for the others, and we know that they can buy clothes, cameras, and promotions relationships, right? By boycotting them, we stop their foundations of money, and the agency can feel at the end of the day unbalanced and realize that their idol is the real invitation that investations that will benefit them and mistreat them. It means they have threatened their own presence agency. So that's why we ask the government support these motions. Thank you.
Thank you. The government of the House finds 7 minutes and 20 seconds, 7 minutes and 20 seconds to continue the case from the oppositions. Please welcome the second speaker of the opposition. Here.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Great. Let me set up my timer. My preferred POI is through just unmuting your mic and saying POI. Okay. I will begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. Few responses for team government. We have stated why, for the long run, problem solving to the law is better for all stakeholders, especially considering the fact that boycotting an agency means that the truly problematic people could just form another agency and do the same thing through the law. They can get more severe punishment if they are very concerned about how expensive lawsuits are. Like you said, the K-pop fandom is very vast and powerful and also extremely loyal in the social media presence. If we as K-pop fans want the best problem solving, there is no doubt the matter of funds will be able to be achieved. Not to mention the artist's name will be less damaged through the law. So despite what they say, boycotting as a long-term solution, they are sadly incorrect. Also, please be careful with the examples you bring, like Suli, which will be further addressed by my whip. Others will be discussed in my extensions. First point of extension is the 2 directions that boycott could go and why it is not likely to firstly happen, secondly succeed. The thing here is, panel, is that the result of boycott, whether it be successful or not, is still a controversial matter that does not include the satisfaction of what we as the K-pop fans are going for. Our best interest is to protect the artists, not just those who are being oppressed, but those who are successful artists and have larger fandoms. Boycotting these agencies could play out in 2 scenarios. First scenario, when we boycott the certain agency that has a tendency to mistreat their artist and to mistreat their artist, and the boycotting results in them promoting the particular artist more or debuting them more, etc. Right? That is their best scenario. By hindsight, this could be seen as effective. However, on a much more progressive and deep level, this has much damage in itself. The particular artist will have a love-hate relationship with the agency and other artists and might experience further oppression when there is that sense of bad blood. Those groups who have been proved to be more successful, and those who are in the middle of the debuting season, for instance. If the agency is very widely attacked by K-pop fandoms to focus on one particular group, it would make the active groups not getting as much attention or necessities from the agency. For example, if the group Twice or ITZY, in releasing a song, the fans decide to boycott JYP as a whole for the mistreatment of GOT7, it could bring harm to not only the accessibility of the debut, but the reputation of the agency, hence leaving all the artists with a bad agency name. If you are still confused, do not worry, I will explain it later. Not to mention if the agency has been very publicly supportive or tried to be considerate to their artists. Like JYP has always been one of the big top 3 agencies in South Korea. We hardly believe it is justified to boycott them for a single mistake or mistreatment of a very small number within their agency compared to the care they have provided for the artists in general. Like, for example, when they supported Mina, an artist that has mental issues due to pressure, JYP supported her through and through by giving her a break without cutting anything of her debut. Yes, there are agencies that are worse, like TS Entertainment, but by boycotting all agencies generally that have any signs of mistreatment is highly not justifiable, considering their effort and reputation and what they provide for the artists and bring joy to the fans. Not more about this on the second extensions. Second scenario is that the government the second scenario that the government is not considering is the more likely possibility that the agencies in question will not comply with what the boycott wants. If an agency is big enough, like SM Entertainment and JYP, who has multiple popular bigwigs groups, not just depending on one single group, will not comply with what the fans want, especially if the approach they do is through boycotting the agency without any serious law support. They won't find this a respectable or even a considerable threat to them. So they will ignore it and not comply with it. With the worst case scenario, they will continue to mistreat the artist even more for the hate the agency is receiving. Like they say, the agencies hold full control over their artists and their contract. What could happen in the worst case? The cancelment and the cut of the contract for the artist. We have described to you a better mechanism, which my prime minister has described. For example, Pledis Entertainment, who almost got boycotted for a group called Pristine that dispersed because they were not as successful, right? Ended up not being boycotted by the K-pop fandom. Why? Because Pledis Entertainment have 17. Because K-pop groups that have bigger fandoms will do the very best they can to support and protect their group. This is why it is not likely. Because they became aware, boycotting the agency means canceling and boycotting 17 in the process, which is why the K-pop fandom decided not to boycott the agency. If anything, that proves the non-likelihood of it actually happening in the first place. Since we are K-pop fandoms for all groups, it is in our interest to protect all groups, especially those that have bigger fandoms. With your example of FX, SM Entertainment didn't get boycotted by the fandom either. Why? Because they provide artists who have bigger voice and a bigger fandom in the community. Second point of extension will be furthermore on why it is not justified or effective to boycott these agencies and the impact it would bring to the K-pop community, to us also. Firstly, every agency, especially if we're talking about agencies in K-pop in South Korea, have experienced some scandal, has mistreated their artists in some way or another. If the systematic boycott the government is proposing should happen, it would create chaos and countless boycotts for major and underdogs agencies. It would create an even more fanatic stigma and an unforgiving situation for the K-pop community because all fandoms will be at war with each other. The boycotting would damage the artists and the K-pop community's betterment and image whether or not they succeed. Let me explain. Their best case scenario is that the agency would be boycotted, but the artists that have been mistreated would be okay, would be successful, or that they could move to another agency. But this could also ruin the artists. They will be filled with guilt, for example, for the fall of their agency. Even if not the agency, for their fellow artists. They could be affected and attacked by the fellow artists' fandom, by the repercussions of their fandoms. As the K-pop fandom and as a whole who support all K-pop groups, we want to protect and raise the accessibility for all groups, and that includes their relationship and betterment within the K-pop business, for our image as a K-pop fandom as well. Now, we have been known to be having an image that is quite fanatic by the rest of the world, right? The bad image of our fandom is the bad image for the artists we support. When we are constantly at war with each other, we are not helping how the K-pop fandom is viewed. We are not helping the artist. For example, the world continues BTS's fandom very toxic, hence why they don't even want to support or why they don't even want to like BTS. And that is a big group. Imagine when the group is not that popular. Boycotting is an extreme action. And when people judge our fandom and our artists, we are not helping them in any way, whether them being successful or not. So considering all aspects for the long term, justice that the fandom can achieve through the law is much better. The K-pop fandoms are very powerful on social media. Not only petitions, gain they can generate funds because we are a worldly organization, right? And lawsuits for agencies could also create bigger punishment and much more severe punishment for those problematic people who have brought this issue, who have done the wrong in this motion in the first place. Like as we've said to you, how by boycotting all agencies, we will be damaging the agency's reputation, the agency's accessibility, the artist's reputation, the artist's accessibility and mental health, our image as a K-pop fandom, and limit our ability to help the artists in the future, which is why we as the opposition strongly oppose this motion. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your times. So proceed to the closing. To close up the case from the affirmative side of the House, we welcome the third speaker of the affirmative side of the House. Here. Third speaker of the government, time is yours.
Third speaker.
I'm gonna begin my speech at 3, 2, 1. First of all, I'm gonna compare our mechanism with the cut the contract and boycott, and I will show you that our mechanism is way more better. First of all, they only talk about law. We can use law, but the fact in the status quo they not become realistic. When you are want to be the part of the agencies, you already agree with the terms of condition, and you could not bring it to the law. Why? You can say GOT7 been mistreated for the whole years, but they only can be disbanded. They can only disparate from the GIP entertainment because they when they are only 7 years, because that was the contract says they only can be out from the GIP entertainment for the 7 years. It shows you that how much power that this contract between the idol and between the agencies, how strong it is, and it cannot be affected with the law. So their argument with the law is invalid. And even though it is possible, you can see that GIP Entertainment, SM Entertainment is a very rich company, and you say that, oh yeah, K-pop fans are diehard fans. They can get the money. But we say we will gonna solve the problem from the root. If the companies, if the agencies doesn't have any money because we boycott them, they wouldn't have any money to hire law or something like that. If you just like want to do it on the law, it will just like very useless. First, because there is the power of the terms of condition they already agreed, and the agency is already rich and have a very wide networking in Korea. And you say that they have so many ways to become success. Well, it is not like that in the status quo. When you are as a K-pop fandom, of course we want our band, our group that we stand to be as like that, to be as a whole. I'm a guess say, of course I want to see GOT7 as 7. And if they out of GIP entertainment, they would be tend to work individually, because there's a third mark that is very difficult to get that GOT7 name. It would make we as a fandom sad. That's why this is what we want to achieve. We want them to be as a whole and not getting mistreated. And with your way, with your mechanism, it highly possible not you cannot achieve that, because when they are want to go with to another agencies, they would be difficult to be a group again. And in Korea, in South Korea, when you are being solo or you after this band, it is you are not the possibilities to become as successful as before. It's very highly impossible, because when you are a group, there was something charming. You have another charm than when you are alone. And even GOT7 as a group and GOT7 as individual is different, you know, like the music oriented and things like that. It would make their fans would be go away. You can see 101 when they are a group as a whole, they would be like very they happen to be like with EXO and BTS, but when they are separated, their power started to decrease. Even though Kang Daniel still famous, but the rest of the members doesn't get the spotlight as much as they are in the 101. It's the proof. We as a government side of the house talk about the status quo and in the reality right now, and you just like you didn't give it a proof that in the status quo it could happen. And the first speakers already I don't know, they become backlash because they say it is okay, they can get another way to success. They will be success. And but she said it too that difficult to search new agencies. It is how if you are a K-pop idols who already debuted, then if you are out, you have to start it all over again. Everything you have because you have a different concept about your group, and you don't have any idea that the society would accept you or not. And the opposite team of the house also talk about the image of
K-popers. Please.
No, thank you. The image of K-popers if we do this thing, it would be radical. No, I said that this boycott narrative already been there in the K-pop stand, and all of them are supported it. And if you see in the Twitter, they already like, let's boycott SM Entertainment, boycott JP. The hashtag is oftenly trending. And if we do this, actually, we're not getting. We will be praised because it is our moral responsibility to we have a power to get away of the mistreatment, but we don't do it. It is a bad thing if we know that we have power to do it, and we, of course, we need to help them because we have the power to stop them, and we are always enjoy their music. What, it's very not likely if we see them and we not do anything about that. And you say if we boycotting, there are no promotion for other groups that already success, and there's other artists who didn't get mistreatment, is innocent and blah blah blah. But this is actually our main purpose. If we boycott the whole agencies, doesn't have any funding anymore. Twice, like example, GOT7, the GOT7 fandom.
Please.
No, GOT7 fandom is getting boycott, and Twice is affected. So like we will push this pressure will make the agencies will do it very rapid, because if we say we not just like unreasonably do boycott and not buying, we give petition like, this is what we want, if you don't give what we want, then we're gonna do this to attack you. And of course agency will be afraid. This is what we need, the pressure that we need, because if we just this is what we want, when give the pressure, and the pressure can give if we boycott all of their products, they will understand what we want and they will fulfill it because they feel pressure. And you already said the fandom will getting into a fan war. I said it, no, we as the K-pop fandoms know when, like, what is mistreatment and what is not. If you say like the little group who like it is justified for SM to not promoting FX FX properly because they have another boy, another potential boy group. But I say GOT7 FX is not a little group. They have reached a million milestone. They no, thank you. They won an award, and even BAP is is same as BTS and EXO in their year, but they still got mistreatment. We know when it's the agencies were mistreatment, as we see that their album is high, their album sales is high, but they not getting the promotion. It is what we consider as mistreatment. But when the K-pop idols that is small and the agencies already do everything to make it big, we're not gonna protest. We know how this is mistreatment. We can see if the agencies do it properly or not. Yes, we can. As you can see, GOT7, BAP, FX, though, is a big group. It's not a little group, and it is not right for them to just annoy this three because they have another boy group. It is not right, and this is not cause fan war because all the K-pop stands know how legendary GOT7, FX, and the others and the other group. But not because fan war, because
time's up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The third speaker of the affirmative of the House span 8 minutes and 5 seconds. 8 minutes and 5 seconds. To close the debate from the opposition side of the House, let's welcome the third speaker of the opposition side of the House. Here.
Opposition whip, are you there?
For the third speaker of the opposition side of the House, time is sure. Here.
audible? I'm sorry, there's some problem with my device just now. Okay.
Yes, you are.
Am I audible? Wait.
Still audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay, so I'm going to start. Wait, I'm going to set up my timer. I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Before I jump to my arguments, I'm going to give some rebuttals to the government side of the house. First is that they mentioned about law costs lots of money. Ladies and gentlemen, these motions we talk about agencies with high tendency of mistreating, right? This means that this agency already done too much bad things to their artists. As the keep of fans, of course we want justice, right? Justice without even giving bad impacts to the artists. Of course we want to end this problem until the root of this problem, right? And if you want that to happen, then our solution is the best way to happen considering to our status quo right now. Because it's the best way and secure way to do it, even if it takes time, but we don't want the same mistake to happen again, right? Your side, the government side, is only give a temporary solutions, which is I'm going to explain later in my arguments. Second is that they mentioned about boycott will not ruin loopers' image because the boycott narrative already appeared since a long time and already have hashtags from K-popers. Is that exactly because boycott narrative is already there since a long time and their hashtags flows everywhere in every trend and makes the other community feels annoyed and labeled them as fanatics and radical because some K-popers usually use every conditions to manifest our interest. They don't care about the context. All they want is their hashtag should be trending and they disturb other community. That's why as fandom of all artists, we should fix this bad stereotype in society that actually we are not that radical and not all of us are egoistic. That's why by stop boycotting, we can fix our reputations. Thirdly, they mentioned about they are not only fans, but they also have sympathy and sad when their idol got mistreated. Here's the thing. If they really do love their artists, they shouldn't make their artists suffer more agency could harm the artist itself and their fellow artists. They will get bad social stigma because they have they will more got hate from their haters, which can directly affect their mental. They will got they will got judgment and prejudice by the society because their fans has been boycotting an agency without proving a legal evidence. They will get hated by their fellow artists and seen as the fans are ruining the fellow artist agency. If you really love your idol, you can help your idol to access law to get their rights. Just like my second said, K-pop fandom is a worldly community. We can generate funds and help our idols to reach legal assistance. While law gives better solutions, law will solve the problem fairly, judging which one is the wrong one and which one that got mistreated. This will help clarify to the media, to the whole society about the reality that happens with a legal base. So credibility for the artists increase and society wouldn't see the artists as problematic as the agency they came from. Fourth is that you mentioned when you apply in agency, you agree to the terms and conditions so hard for you to sue them. Exactly, because you have signing the terms and conditions in contract. It means that in the agreement, it means in that agreement, there is a line that agency should fulfill your rights. And if they don't fulfill your rights, you can bring it up to the court. Law will protect your rights. And also, you bring up an example about Suli is being mistreated. If you bring up about Suli, let me tell you that she died. She did suicide because of the hate comments that she often got in society. As entertainment already done everything that they could, such as bring hate speech and assault to law firms. Okay, maybe that you said SM did not do a good job. But why SM not get boycott though? Why many people still love SM Entertainment? Why SM Entertainment still being the first rich agencies in South Korea? This shows you that boycotting without any laws backup is going to be a waste of time. No, thank you. And also, you mentioned about by boycotting them, we stop their money because their artist is their only investments. But by boycotting, you also stop the money for fellow artists. Not only that artist is who gets mistreated, which this can lead to destroying the relations between the artist and its fellow artists. Government says we are not being realistic because when artists join an agency, we sign a contract that we cannot dismiss. The thing is, the lawsuit doesn't necessarily have to come from the artist. It can come from the fandom. And we question, does that contract have restrictions to fight for human rights? No. So sorry, but we are valid because we have proven that boycott is not a long-term problem solving compared to the law. We are very confused by the government, okay? Their third speaker directly contradicts with their case. She said that by boycotting will make all the groups within the agency to fall, etc. And it will be hard for them to recover or become a solid group. Exactly why boycotting is not effective solutions because it knocks down the entire agency and artist image. We are confused how to respond to this. Okay, now jump to my arguments. For only one question to this debate. Why boycotting is not effective at all? Ladies and gentlemen, as a K-pop multi-fandom, of course, we need to be careful at all paths or decisions that we choose. I strongly believe that boycott is not the answers. Why? First, the artist name and fellow artists also can get bad impacts of that. Like my first and second speaker already explained to you so many times. Ladies and gentlemen, boycotting the agencies mean that you are also boycotting the artists. As we know that in South Korea, people are easy to get cancel someone. For example, like if like one of the artists are dating, they can get canceled if that kind of some simple problem like that can cancel some artists. How about this kind of big problem that have no law backup? Let's think logically, okay? If we boycott this agency just because of one artist and that agency is getting boycott or canceled, how about other artists' careers? We need to consider many aspects here, ladies and gentlemen. Secondly, my first speaker already explained it, but I'm going to say it again. We know that that now Korea fans is being looked up as a radical fans, fanatic fans. And if they just boycotting something without any legal base, they will be seen as not serious with the demand. But if we do the opposite, if we use the law as their backup, we're gonna solve this problem to the root. And this can benefits not only the artists but also their fellows and fans in the long terms. While the government only give you a temporary solution, which is just boycotting, the government didn't even consider about how the other artist image is gonna be. They keep saying that the boycott is the best solutions, but they didn't even respond to our arguments that say, what if after the boycott, agency can have proxies and can make a new agency? They can make use their proxies to make new identity, new account, and make the same mistakes in the new agency. What are you gonna do about it? Let the same mistakes repeat again? So if you want justice for all the artists in the secure way, please oppose these motions. Thank you.
Thank you. For third speaker span, 7 minutes and 15 seconds, 7 minutes and 15 seconds. To replicate and to give the reply speech from the oppositions, please welcome the reply speaker of opposition. Here. Reply speaker of oppositions, are you here?
Hold on, I'm setting up my timer.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. panels, first of all, team proposition is playing way too safe by denying the worst scenario and worst harms that may be caused by boycotting. Notice how team proposition keep worrying about how artists cannot easily reach the legal assistances. But since the first place of the debate, my team already explained it to you that artists have choice. If they do really know that they've been disadvantaged for a long time, they can cut contract and demand for their rights, like demand for their wage and other rights of them. And artists can sue agency itself. Why should they keep silent if they know their rights has been violated by the agency? Every single of the artists are protected by the national. They can use the law to protect their rights because the artist has signing for the terms and condition in the contract. It means that in that agreement there is a line that agency should fulfill the artist's rights, and if they don't fulfill it, then they can bring it to the court. Law will protect their rights from violation from the agency, and at least these artists will having a legal base. At least artists will have evidence and a legal base to do so. Especially artists are people who have power. They have hundreds of thousands of fans and support, and all K-pop fandom is a worldly community. We can generate funds and help our idol to reach the legal assistances, and we can help our artists to access legal assistance. They can help them to collect evidence by backed up by the law. This will show the society that this problem is serious and having a legal base. This shows that this issue is having a legal base, not just an issue that got glorified by our K-pop fans community to seek attention. The thing is, the lawsuit doesn't necessarily have to come from the artist. It can come from fandom. And we question, does the contract have restriction to fight for human rights? No. So sorry, but we are valid because we have proven that boycott is not a long-term problem solving compared to the law. Boycotting, which is the only solution that team proposition offer, is really harms the stakeholders, especially the artist itself. Just like my second and third previously elaborated to you, they will got bad social stigma because they have relations with a problematic agency. They will get more hate from their haters, which can directly affect their mental. They will got judgment and prejudice by the society because their fans has been boycotting an agency without proving a legal evidence. They will got hated by their fellow artists and seen as their fans are ruining the fellow artist agency. And also, overall, government wants the same things we do, which is the betterment and success for all K-pop artists, but they have failed to prove why it will be better achieved on their side. The fall of their agency means the fall of them and will make the artists suffer from the outside they leave the agency, which is one of the scenario my deputy discussed, which by the third speaker of government contradicts with her own team and favors our point, so thank you for that. My second speaker also provided you with a complete argument and worst case scenario analysis through evaluating boycott from the scenario. First scenario, when we boycott the certain agency that has a tendency to mistreat their artists, and the boycotting result in promoting particular artists more or debating them more, and etc. Right, which is their best case scenario, and why it is still won't be the best success for the artists because of the protest and oppression they will receive from other fandoms, artists, and the fall of their agency. Fourth, and reputation. More about this on the second extension from my second speaker. Second scenario that she already elaborated that the government is not considering is the more likely possibility that agency in question will not comply with that the boycott wants. Both agencies that are big and small, and why it will make the fandom extremely toxic and disadvantaging the artists, which by the way, my deputy has also provided explanation why it will not likely to be happen with examples and link back. So if you want a better solution to manifest artists' rights and create a better system of entertainment, please vote for the opposition. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now to close the debate for this third round, please welcome the reply speaker from the government here.
Here.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
All right. I am going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Opposition has been ignoring the fact that our mechanism has attacked the problem from its roots. They have been ignoring the fact that small artists has little to no power to actually file a lawsuit. Opposition has also been saying that in status quo, boycotting is already happening. But that is not true at all. The idea of boycotting is actually present. No K-pop stands has actually boycotted any companies, hence why we are proposing this motion. And so now I'm going to talk about the point of clashes, which is firstly lawsuits versus boycotting. They have been ignoring the fact that these big companies could endure countless lawsuits. They have a legal team, and so these lawsuits are basically nothing to them. On the other hand, our mechanism would force these companies to change its policies. This means that we are attacking the problem from its roots. Not only this, our mechanism would bring attention to these companies to other developed and big groups. So they would also use their influence to help protest against this agency. So basically, our mechanism not also only targeted the fans, but also larger groups that has been successful in that agency would also step in to help prevent these abuse from happening in their agencies. They make it seem like lawsuits are as easy as counting to 1, 2, 3. Lawsuits, we have proven that lawsuits are complicated. Do you think fans could understand the intricacies of their contracts? They think that lawsuits is basically just saying a company is bad, so they're gonna win. That's it. They just keep mentioning that. Boycotting poses a larger threat to the agency, and hence they are more likely to change the way that they treat all artists, and hence our mechanism is way more effective. We have given the examples such as GOT7 that they are finally released from their contracts after 7 years, although they already filed a lawsuit. This has shown the ineffectivity of a lawsuit. Because we have also so basically this proves that even GOT7 that has filed a lawsuit need to wait until the contract ends to be released. So basically this shows that lawsuits are so ineffective. And also, second clashing points are K-pop radical or not. And they have stated that it would seem that K-pop fans would seem bad, but we have proven that boycotting agencies are beneficial and also effective in tackling mistreatment in the industry. This would mean that K-pop fans would give the notion that they care about the industry's abuse as a whole, so it would not make them seem radical. And also the last is that they said that boycotting would harm not only abuse groups, but all groups. But we have proven that this with our goal. Obviously, their companies would not endure this boycotting because it would harm their main source of income. By forcing them into that situation, into a corner, we have proven that it would force these agencies into a situation where they have to fundamentally change their way of managing K-pop artists. And also, they said that we missed an argument, which is proxies. But my third speaker has addressed this problem. And the way that she addresses it is that that proxy argument could also apply to your side of mechanism. Side opposition has also not mentioned any law which would be effective if the artists want to file a lawsuit. They have not mentioned anything regarding that. So to conclude, we as the government has toppled all of opposition arguments, and we have given countless examples on why lawsuits are bad and also why boycotting is very good and very helpful for these artists, not only the abused one but also those big artists. And hence we believe that our team has won. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So that's the end of our debate for today. For all debaters, please kindly leave for this breakout room because the adjudicators.
I think they shouldn't have to leave. They just you can just like stay here and give time for me and Nola and also Ivan to decide who's the winner.
I actually cannot go to the Discord anyway.
It's okay. We can discuss on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Okay.
So
just please stay here and mute yourself.
Yeah, please stay here. Thank you very much.